So I've created a script that you can download at the following URL that essentially just polls for the number of shares a particular domain has received on Facebook. So, I mean, if we just consider this Smashing Magazine as an example, it received over 6,000 shares on Facebook for, I imagine, various articles that it had posted. So the more than likely they, at the end of an article, put a little like or share button down at the bottom, or someone just copy and pasted the URL into their wall. Regardless of either one of those two ways of going about it, it's added to their share count. And that's exactly what's being reflected in this example here. Now, if we look at the code, you'll see that we're getting this from the graph endpoint, Facebook's JSON API over here. And if we take a peek at one of these URLs, you should be familiar with this format, just JSON formatted data over here. And what we're doing from here is simply using the ID, which is the URL of the domain, and the shares, and that's essentially it. But what's interesting is what we want to get to, and what we want to get to is something like this. Now, what you're looking at here is actually these graphs you're looking at are HTML5 canvas graphs, and what's really cool is that none of these are being dynamically created each time the page refreshes. There's no bitmap imagery over here. Everything that you see, like drawing wise, is happening through JavaScript, specifically through the canvas abilities of HTML5, and the styling of these things is through CSS. And what we're going to use is we're going to get some dynamic data in here that we're going to graph, because my end goal is to take these domains and the number of shares and chart them out in a bar graph like this, to where we have a little down at the bottom, we have a little legend. Over here we'll say something like number of shares, and then we'll have bar charts over here indicating the actual numeric value of those. And what we're going to what we're going to use to do this is called the Visualize.js library through the Filament Group, and they provide a nice article on let's see, they got a nice article on how to use this charting library, and that's essentially what we're going to do. Now, comparatively to other drawing or graphing libraries, the Filament Groups is limited, but it's very simple, and that's one of the main reasons why I chose it. Our workflow is going to be, once we bring the data in through our jQuery, what we're going to end up doing is simply templating this data, not in this format, but rather into a table. And then just as easy, once we apply that JavaScript that we have through the Filament Group's JavaScript, it's just going to render that table into a graph. Nice and easy. And if we want to make any edits to the color, the cosmetic, then you know where to go. We'll just check out the CSS and make the appropriate edits.